If you've been making videos for any length of time, you should know how important lighting is. What I'm going to show you in this video is my favorite editing trick to make any lighting setup look better. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Church Video School channel. I'm Spencer, the founder of churchvideoschool.com. If you need some help with gear, especially lighting gear, make sure you check out the free Church Video Gear Guide linked in the description below for recommendations on lighting and any other camera gear you might need to make awesome videos for your church. Having good lighting is so valuable to helping your videos look professional and even cinematic. However, there are some tips and tricks to make any good lighting setup look great in the editor. What we're gonna do now is hop on over into my computer and I'm gonna walk you step by step how I add a color correction vignette to almost all of my projects. Let's check it out. All right, here we are inside Final Cut Pro. So I'm going to show you how to create a vignette here inside Final Cut Pro. He was the Portland Trailblazers chaplain for a couple of decades, and I had the opportunity to sit down with him and ask him some questions. And so that's what we're working with today as far as footage goes. This technique is going to make any type of talking headshot look better, whether it's an interview or a straight talking head piece where you're talking directly to the camera. It's really, really simple to do, and I'm gonna show you how here inside Final Cut. First, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select the multicam clip, which I've made here. So this has got two angles built into it. And so I'm going to actually, instead of having to copy and paste this effect, I'm going to double click on this and open up the multicam editor here. And I'm just going to work with this source clip so that I don't have to do this multiple times. As you can see in the panel up here on the right, I've already applied quite a bit of color correction to this shot. This is what it looked like straight out of the camera. This is what it looks like after I've added color. It's pretty stylized, but what I want to show you is a really simple step you can do either at the beginning or at the end of your editing process. The first thing we need to do is go into the color correction tab, and I'm going to create a new color correction. So I'm going to actually go to the color board for this one because it's a little bit easier to work with for what we're going to be trying to do. If you're working inside Premiere Pro or some other editor, what you're going to want to do is find a basic color correction and go to the mask feature, and you'll be able to do this exact same thing, just a little bit differently. So now that I'm inside my color board correction effect, I've made sure that I've selected this clip, and I'm going to make sure this is on exposure because that's what I want to adjust in order to make my subject's face stand out more prominently in this shot. So up here where it says color board 1, I'm actually going to click this little button here to create a mask. I'm going to go to the add shape mask because I want to make a vignette, which is a shape of exposure. So I'm going to hit the shape mask. And now I'm going to have this circular feature here that's going to be the shape of my mask. The general idea with this vignette mask is to create contrast between the subject's face and everything else in the frame so that your eye is drawn towards the face of the subject. So the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the shape of this mask so that it's pretty tight to his face, and that's pretty good right there. And this inner circle is going to be the actual mask itself. That's where the effect is taking place. This outer circle here is going to be how feathered that effect is. In Premiere Pro, there's a different way to change the shape of the feather, and it's more over here in the control panel. But the idea is to feather this pretty loosely because you don't want it to be super obvious. So I think pulling it out about here, obviously if you pull it totally out of the frame, you won't notice anything. And if you pull it really tight, it'll be too obvious. So I like to go maybe halfway between the subject's face and the edge of the frame right here. So it's really important that you flip the mask so that you're adjusting everything outside of it. So over here where it says inside, outside, I'm going to make sure I select outside. Now, all I want to do is go to my highlights in my exposure tab, and I want to start pulling those down. You can see if I pull them down really aggressively, there's nothing left. This is the actual effect taking place to its extreme. So that's obviously way farther, but just so you have an idea of what's going on here, I'm going to adjust the feathering so you can see what that feathering does to this effect. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to adjust this back to where it started, and then let's bring that down to about here. It's pretty subjective. You want it to be noticeable if you're looking for it, but not noticeable if you're not. So I'm going to select this effect up here and take away the mask. So if I turn it off here, you can see there's a lot of light around him coming from this glass and from the window here. So when I apply the effect, it really mutes that. And I actually might do this even a little bit more because there is so much bleed from those bright surfaces. Now that I've applied the effect, I want to go and check my video scopes to see where we're at. So I'm going to hit Command 7, which is the shortcut to bring up video scopes in Final Cut Pro. And so here on the left, now you can see I've got my Luma waveforms here. And so this is a left to right snapshot of the image itself. And so right here is his face. 63 is kind of the target for face and skin tones. So I feel like it does need to get brought up here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go back to my other color correction. I'm going to go to my midtones here, and I'm going to boost the midtones to bring those a little bit more into where they should be. But I'm going to show you what happens if I go back to my color board where I put this vignette effect on. If I turn it off, I want you to see what happens to the shape of this waveform here. Okay, so you can see that this is the bright side on the right, this is the bright side on the left, and when I engage this, you can see that it's brought those down quite a bit. So the idea with this is to make it look natural, whereas if I look at this right now, I can't say, oh, there's obviously an effect being applied, but if I take it off, I go, oh yeah, there definitely was. And I think it looks much better with this applied. So that's basically the rundown of how you apply this vignette effect. I think it makes a big difference, especially if you didn't shoot it perfectly or you're in a tough environment and you want to have more contrast between your subject and the background. This is a really great tool that you can do in 5 minutes or less to make any type of talking headshot look better. Well, that wraps it up for this video, guys. If you found anything helpful in this video, please smash that like button, hit subscribe, make sure you don't miss all the content that's coming out to help you make better videos for your church. Again, don't forget to check out the free church video gear guide linked in the description below. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.